Our topic for today is about correlation. So there are 4 learning contents. Actually, I have divided it into 2 videos in order for you to understand more of the topic. So these are the learning contents. We have the definition of correlation, the direction of correlation, an example of a correlation, and of course computation of correlation manually and in Excel. So let's proceed to the word correlation, the definition. So it is made of two or meaning together and relation. So it is called correlation, and it is usually used in statistics or statistical analysis, and it is to test or used to test relationships between quantitative variables or categorical and qualitative variables. Or in other words, it is a measure of how things are related. The study of how variables are correlated is called correlation analysis. So these are some examples. These are some examples of variables having high correlation and low correlation. So the first example is, of course, your caloric intake and your weight. So is there correlation between the two variables? Yes, there is a high correlation, because if you have caloric intake, more caloric intake than your weight, you will gain weight. And then we have also your color and your relatives, your eye color and your relatives' eye colors. So it is hereditary. We know that eye color is hereditary, so it might have a high correlation. And the amount of time your study and your GPA, your grade, or the amount of giving time to your study with your grades. And then we have also some examples here of low correlation or none at all. So these are your sexual preference and the type of cereal you eat. So it seems like they have no relationship. There is no relationship at all between those two variables. And a dog's name and the type of dog biscuit they prefer. So the dog's name, so is there a correlation between the dog's biscuit? It depends on the owner of the dog if he will name the dog after the biscuit, the name of the biscuit, or the preferences of those of the dog to eat. And then we have also the third one, the cost of a car wash and how long it takes to buy a soda inside the station. So it seems like there's no correlation, or there's a negative correlation between those variables. So those are examples. And we have also here the direction of correlation. So this part explains the graphical representation of correlation, if it is a high correlation or no correlation, or there is negative correlation of those values between two variables. So positive correlation, so we can see here that if the one variable increase and then the other one also increase, then it has a positive correlation. They go together, and two values, or the values of two variables increase together. So it is a positive correlation, and this is the graphical representation of the positive correlation. And then we have also no correlation. So the values don't seem linked at all. So there is no relationship between the values of those correlation. And then the negative correlation, it is a value of one variable increase, value of other variable decrease. So one value is increasing but the other one is decreasing. So that is a negative correlation. So more graphical representation. So we have perfect positive correlation. They go together, they increase together, the values increase. And then the high positive correlation. So it seems like it is being scattered in the graphical or the graph, but then it increases, right? So both variables or both values of those variables increases. And then low positive correlation, so it is scattered again, the values, so it has low positive correlation. No correlation if the values are not seems like there is a line, or if the values doesn't increase. So, and then we have also low negative correlation, so it's negative 0.5 to maybe 0.8, negative 0.8, so low negative correlation. So unlike high positive correlation or the low positive correlation, if one of or both of the values increases, but in here one value decreases, one value or one values of the variable decrease. And then we have also high negative correlation, so the values also decreases, or the values of one variable decreases. And then the perfect negative correlation, so that this is the graphical representation, it also decreases, it is perfectly decreases. So we have here example. So the local ice cream keeps track of how much ice cream they sell versus the temperature on that day. Here are their figures for the last 12 days. So as we can see here in our sales, here it is a positive, right? Positive high correlation. So warmer weather, so through seeing the graph of sales and temperature, or plotted graph of the values of sales between sales and temperature, we can see that it is in high correlation. So a warmer weather and higher sales go together, so the relationship is good but not perfect. So it is not perfect but almost perfect, right? So it is a positive, high positive correlation. Okay, so to manually compute the example of this example or the situation, you may watch the next video for computing manually and using the built-in function of MS Excel. Correct. Thank you.